Disclaimer. This channel is for entertainment and educational purposes only. All third-party video clips, audio, and commentary fall under fair use as outlined in Section 107 of the Copyright Act, in accordance with applicable laws. The views and opinions expressed in this channel are those of the host and should not be taken as fact or professional advice, and do not necessarily reflect current views or affiliations.
Well, I knew it was coming, drivers. I knew it was coming. Everything for these shady lease opportunities, all the shady calls that these drivers be getting, all the opportunities that was offered to you and you find out that it wasn't all that cracked up to be, it's all coming to an end. Number 47, he came and put another legislations on the books. Imagine thinking the lease purchase was the only way you could get a truck and make a living. But instead of getting a truck, only to wake up and see the government stepping in and flipping the whole game on its head. That's exactly what happened. And for these shady lease companies, it might be time for them to pack up and leave. In this video, we break down how this new visa rule and the Predatory Truck Leasing Prevention Act of 2025 could change the outlook for these black companies forever. From number 47's 100K H-1B visa fees to Congress targeting shady lease purchase company programs, this could be the beginning of the end for these predatory carriers. Let's talk about it.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for listening. I am Lockout Men. And look, shout out to Andrew Jackson for bringing this to the forefront, right? It was his video that gave me the inspiration to talk about it, because I always talk to a lot of you drivers of your experience with these black op companies, and particularly the ones that's located in Chicago, Illinois. And chasing Andrew Jackson's video, which I will link in the description, he says that number 47 had stepped up and signed an executive order raising the H-1B visa fees to $100K per year. That is $100,000. 6 figures per year, per person, okay? Listen to me, that's not pocket change. No, it might be pocket change to number 47, but certainly not pocket change to these black op companies that's about to get hit with this. So what it's all about is companies now can't just bring a foreign workers on the cheap anymore. Add in the fact that the H-2B visa pipeline for truck drivers was already paused because of what Hargener Singh did in Florida about a month ago. That tragic U-turn, you can pretty much blame him for the ball to start rolling on all of this. And drivers, you can see exactly where all of this is going, right? I just want to say that the doors are slowly closing for these black op companies who rely on cheap labor from overseas. Second, drivers, and this probably right here, you probably didn't know about or didn't hear because it was probably secret. Chasing Andrew Jackson said that it just happened, which September 18th, a representative by the name of Brownlee introduced H5423, the Predatory Truck Leasing Prevention Act of 2025.
Hello, I'm Todd Spencer, president of OOIDA. I want to thank Representative Brownlee for introducing the Predatory Truck Leasing Prevention Act. Lease purchase programs have been around in trucking for a long time, and most often they're used to primarily take advantage of aspiring truck drivers willing to work their tails right into the ground in hopes of someday owning a piece of equipment. In the overwhelming majority of instances, those hopes are just dashed.
Yes, this right here came straight out of the Truck Leasing Task Force reports, which, by the way, shows how drivers was getting crushed in these lease purchase deals. And that's crazy. To be honest with you, I didn't even know there was a task force. Now, I know there's a lot of lawsuits out here against some of these black companies out here, but I didn't actually know that it was a task force. Now, this task force, which started in 2024, though, there was rumblings about what was going on. And basically from there, they got all these truck drivers together that had high mileage trucks, endless deductions, negative settlements, and 90% of those drivers never made it to ownership. And some of them drivers are still waiting on escrow that was supposed to be given back to them. With this Leasing Prevention Act, they gather all the information from those truck drivers and basically put together a bill. See, this bill aims to ban predatory leasing schemes and black op companies from continuing to disrespect the truck drivers the way they've been doing. And what this also does, it creates a legal relief for drivers and force the DOT to set new rules within a year. Now listen, drivers, if this passes, we could see all of this kick in by January of 2026, which is only a couple of months away. Drivers, these black op companies are in trouble. They're in trouble. Their whole entire business model depends on trapping drivers in contracts that are stacked against them with no title at the end, endless maintenance deductions, settlements that doesn't add up all the time. That's how these blackout companies make their money. They make their money on drivers that just don't know, drivers that are down and out, drivers that are in need, and they know that those drivers have nowhere else to turn but to them. But with this bill, though, all that is about to change. They either going to have to start treating their drivers fairly or either get sued all the way to the ground, pretty much pack up and go back to where they came from. Listen. If the lawyers haven't lined up already for this, I'm telling you right now, they're going to. Now, I know some of you drivers, and I've been saying this for a while now, that y'all been going to some of these black op companies just for content. Now, y'all probably might have another reason to sign up with these black op companies just to trigger a lawsuit if you hadn't done it already. I'm just saying. And listen, drivers, on the visa side, that's going to be another blow to these black op companies that were counting on foreign drivers, right? See, if you got to pay Uncle Sam $100K to just sponsor a driver, plus that driver's wages, I don't know if it's going to be worth it to him when all this get to rolling.
One of the most abused visa systems in our current immigration system has been the H-1B non-immigrant visa program. This is supposed to allow highly skilled laborers who work in fields that Americans don't work in to come into the United States of America. What this proclamation will do is raise the fee that companies pay to sponsor H-1B applicants to $100,000. This will ensure that the people they're bringing in are actually very highly skilled and that they're not replaceable by American workers. So it'll protect American workers, but ensure that companies have a pathway to hire truly extraordinary people and bring them to the United States to work.
See, that just means now that carriers just can't replace American drivers with much cheaper alternatives. See, now these black op companies is going to have to do one or two things. They either going to have to improve their pay and the way they treat these drivers, or pretty much cut out and vanish just like the rest of them. The combination of these two moves, drivers, means one thing: that these shady black op lease purchase outfits and fly-by-night carriers, they're pretty much are running out of runway. So drivers, if this bill passes, drivers that are stuck in bad leases may finally have a way out without destroying their finances. This right here pretty much could shift the power back into the driver's hands. On the flip side of all of this though, if these black op companies can't exploit the drivers or bring in cheap labor to replace them, they either have to fold or they're pretty much gonna have to restructure. That means the next few years could be a reset button for the trucking industry as a whole. Lease purchase as we know it may not even exist in 2027. Drivers would either have to go straight company, true owner operating with financing, or just walk away altogether. And with that, we will see.
So here's my question to you. Do you think this bill is a step in the right direction, or do you believe it's going to hurt the industry more than it helps? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you're a driver with a lease purchase story, good or bad, I want to hear from you. Send it to lockoutmenpodcastguest@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update. This is Underrated and Overworked Podcast.